Beth and Rip's Yellowstone spinoff could have a major advantage over the original Taylor Sheridan show. If everything goes according to plan, Beth and Rip's Yellowstone spinoff could have a significant advantage over the original show. Created by neo-Western screenwriter Taylor Sheridan, Yellowstone ran for 5 seasons on the Paramount Network, with the last season airing in 2 parts. In Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, Sheridan concluded the story by explaining what happens to the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, marking the end of the family's shared time in the Paradise Valley. Still, despite the series seemingly ending in December 2024, many Yellowstone fans haven't witnessed the end yet due to a frustrating release issue. Beth and Rip spinoff might correct the issue for Sheridan fans, at least how it's set up. In Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14, Life is a Promise, the franchise's Paramount Yellowstone power couple embarks on their next chapter. After Beth buys a ranch 40 miles west of Dillon, Montana, she moves in with Rip and Carter at the end of the season. It's a picture-perfect ending for Beth and Rip, despite spending years fighting for the Dutton Ranch. But their story isn't over yet, and their next chapter could be even better than the original. The announcement that Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 will be available on Peacock on Sunday, March 16, highlights why Beth and Rip's spinoff could have one significant advantage over the original. Many fans still haven't seen the final segments of the show due to it airing on the Paramount Network and being sparsely available to stream elsewhere. Despite most Paramount or CBS shows typically coming to Paramount Plus within hours of their release, Yellowstone Season 5 hasn't received the same treatment because Peacock has the exclusive rights to stream the show, resulting from a deal that predates Paramount's streaming service. Beth and Rip's offshoot could avoid the release issue, circumventing Paramount's deal with Peacock to stream the show exclusively, rather than continuing as Yellowstone Season 6, which would bind Beth and Rip's story to Peacock as a continuation of the flagship. The couple's spinoff is a new endeavor. That said, Paramount can produce the series as a separate entity, freeing it from the existing Yellowstone deal. As a new independent entity, the Dutton Wheeler offshoot could stream on Paramount Plus, making it accessible to fans on the same service where they can access most other Yellowstone stories, except, frustratingly, the original. The fact that Beth and Rip's Yellowstone spinoff might come to Paramount Plus and move beyond a dated deal is just an additional asset of the offshoot. The Dutton family's next Montana story has another significant advantage as a spinoff, rather than continuing Beth and Rip's story as Yellowstone Season 6. While the original series is the most recognizable and iconic, Yellowstone's prequels have arguably surpassed the quality of the original. Where Yellowstone can sometimes feel like a soap opera with its melodramatic tone and characters, Sheridan's 1883 and 1923 are often more favored than the original. Beth and Rip's offshoot could incorporate the best of both worlds as a Yellowstone spinoff that centers on the original show's characters. Yellowstone spinoffs have focused on new narratives from the past, looking back at different eras of the family's time in the Paradise Valley and introducing new members of the Dutton family tree. With Beth and Rip's story, Sheridan can channel the spinoff's more serious, refined tones while centering on 2 of the franchise's most beloved personalities. Beth and Rip's spinoff is doubtlessly better than the Dutton Wheeler family, continuing in Yellowstone Season 6 for 2 reasons. First, as a Yellowstone spinoff, Beth and Rip's story will likely receive the same treatment that 1883 and 1923 received concerning Sheridan, crafting a unique, refined tale that stands alone from the flagship. Their unique story also gives Beth and Rip's story a chance to surpass the original as a separate entity rather than continue the tone of the original series, when many of its stories have reached their natural conclusion, at least for now. The flagship's conclusion is also why Beth and Rip's story must stand alone. While it upset many fans to watch the Dutton family lose the ranch, the family selling the ranch to the Broken Rock tribe was the story's natural conclusion. We know this because Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone prophecy, set up in 1883, foretells that the Dutton family would eventually relinquish the land to its indigenous stewards. Therefore, with production complications and Kevin Costner exiting the series, leaving the show without John Dutton, it was time for Yellowstone to end its story and Beth and Rip to start anew. If there's one couple that has left an indelible mark on Yellowstone, it's Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler. Their passionate, tumultuous, and fiercely loyal love story has been a cornerstone of Taylor Sheridan's hit series. As Yellowstone prepares to wind down, rumors have swirled about potential spin-offs, and a Beth and Rip-focused series could have a major advantage over the original show. While Yellowstone has been a sweeping Western epic centered around the Dutton family's struggles to maintain their sprawling Montana ranch, a Beth and Rip spin-off could offer a more character-driven, intimate, and action-packed narrative that breaks new ground. A fresh take on the Yellowstone universe. One of the greatest strengths of a Yellowstone spin-off centered on Beth and Rip is that it wouldn't have to be weighed down by the sprawling family drama that defined the original show. While Yellowstone excelled in its layered storytelling about land disputes, corporate greed, and power struggles, Beth and Rip's story could focus on something rawer: survival, reinvention, and redemption. This would allow the series to break free from the complex web of Dutton family conflicts and create a more streamlined, action-packed experience. Moreover, a new series would offer a chance to explore different locations outside the Dutton ranch. Whether Beth and Rip venture deeper into Montana, start over in Texas, or find themselves entangled in a high-stakes criminal enterprise elsewhere, the opportunities are endless. Free from the constraints of the ranch and its politics, the show could delve into uncharted territory within the Yellowstone universe. A focused character study. Beth Dutton, played by the incredible Kelly Rayleigh, is one of the most dynamic characters on television. Her razor-sharp wit, unfiltered rage, and unwavering devotion to her family make her endlessly compelling. Likewise, Rip Wheeler, Cole Hauser, is a fan favorite, embodying the perfect mix of stoicism and brutality, yet displaying an unmatched tenderness when it comes to Beth. A spin-off that places these two at the center would allow for a more in-depth exploration of their relationship, personalities, and personal struggles. Unlike Yellowstone, which juggles multiple character arcs, a Beth and Rip show could be an intimate, slow-burning character study. Beth's traumatic past and ongoing struggles with rage and self-destruction could be examined more closely. Rip, who has spent his entire life being fiercely loyal to John Dutton, could face new moral dilemmas when he's no longer under his patriarch's command. This would create a rich emotional tapestry, giving both actors even more room to shine. More freedom to explore high-stakes action. While Yellowstone has always had its fair share of explosive action, a Beth and Rip-led series could amp it up even further. Rip's brutal past and Beth's unapologetic ruthlessness make them a power couple that could thrive in a high-stakes, action-packed narrative. Without the larger Dutton Ranch storyline to slow things down, the show could embrace an outlaw Western vibe, throwing the couple into dangerous situations where they must rely on their wits, instincts, and unwavering love for one another to survive. Imagine Rip and Beth taking on corrupt land developers, outlaws, or even running their own operation in a lawless part of the West. The possibilities for action sequences, shootouts, and tense negotiations are endless. If Yellowstone was about the old guard fighting to keep their land, this new series could be about Beth and Rip carving out a new future for themselves, one that's just as dangerous but even more exhilarating. Leaning into the grit and guts of Yellowstone. Another major advantage of a Beth and Rip spinoff is that it could fully lean into the gritty, no-holds-barred storytelling that Yellowstone has become known for. While the original show had moments of sentimentality, it also had scenes of raw brutality, moral ambiguity, and uncompromising justice. With Beth and Rip at the center, the show could double down on this aspect without the need to balance other family dynamics. Beth is one of the most fearless characters in the Yellowstone universe, and Rip is her unwavering protector. Together, they could embody a modern-day outlaw legend, navigating a world that constantly tries to break them. Their unfiltered dialogue, no BS attitudes, and violent tendencies could make for a show that feels even more raw and unpredictable than Yellowstone itself.